I'm Katie Neal from Audacy Country, and we are here on Broadway at the Hard Rock Cafe Nashville for Totally Private with Carrie Underwood. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We're so excited for tonight. How have you been? How are all the Fisher boys in your household doing?
Good. Everybody's good. Yeah, still recovering from the holidays.
Definitely. I saw that you guys celebrated Jake's 4th birthday recently, which I'm sure was very fun.
Yes, he's growing like a weed, and yeah, he had a blast. Ate some cake, jumped on some trampolines.
All the kid stuff.
Yeah.
Switching from mom life to work life, you also, right before the holidays, released the music video for Hate My Heart, which looks like it was so much fun to film. Did you guys have a good time with that?
We did. We were in like downtown Nashville, and the fun thing about that is like almost all of the girls that were like my friends in the video, like I either work with, or like one of the girls I went to, like we used to sing around Oklahoma together.
Oh, that's so fun.
She's a little younger than I am,
yeah.
but I've known her since I was a teenager.
So it really was like getting to work with your girlfriends.
Yeah,
and have
it was a super fun video shoot, and we just got to, have fun and hang out.
That's so much fun. And then we were just talking, you're getting ready to head back out on the second leg of the Denim and Rhinestones tour, which
this is a great,
great warm
easing
up.
our way in. I don't want to be like warm up because that implies that it's like not as important, but it's like we play for 2 hours like out on the road, and there's just like all the lights and all the things. So I feel like we're easing our way in nicely. Yeah.
You manage all the light, or you mentioned all the lights and all the things of the tour. I feel like this tour has gotten so much Entertainer of the Year buzz already. Like every picture and video I see is like more unbelievable than the last. And as someone who has won that before, like when you guys sit down to start thinking about the tour and building everything out, like what are the conversations like how do we make this year bigger? How do we take the show to the next level?
I mean, for me, I'm trying to keep myself excited, and like I'm always looking for ways to do things I've never done before, push myself in ways I've never done before. I want every tour to feel different and look different and just have a different vibe and different energy to it. So that's more of what it is about for me, like when we're planning and just finding those little things that it's like, well, I've never done that, like let's try this and see how it works. And it just keeps everything interesting and exciting and fun. And I don't want anybody in the audience to like come to a show and be like, well, I basically saw that, a few years ago on Cry Pretty Tour. Like, I really want everybody to get their money's worth and to come and just have a blast and be like, I've never seen this, I've never felt this, and it's exciting. Yeah.
That's amazing. And then after tour wraps, you are going to go back to Vegas to do more of your Reflection residency. And I'm sure that you're very busy while you're there, but given the chance, if you had time to see like another Vegas show, who is like on your list? Like, would you want to go see Keith Urban or Luke Bryan or Adele?
I mean, I'm kind of up for anything. My band's a lot better than I am about like getting out and about and going to all the things. When I'm away from home for those like 2 weeks, if I'm going to be away from my boys, I'm like, let's make it worth it. So I kind of work as much as I can, so that when I'm out, and when I'm home, I can just be, mom. But yeah, I mean, I love Vegas. There's entertainment everywhere, like even like at the restaurants. So it's like you're constantly being stimulated and entertained no matter what you're doing.
Totally. And going back out and having these like big shows, the tour, and going back to Vegas, and then being here tonight and getting to perform this intimate show. What do you have in mind for the set list, or what are you excited about singing? We're
doing some things that people would expect me to do, of course. I feel like there's a few songs that it's like, I can't get out of the room without singing, which is fine by me. I love it. And we're throwing in some new stuff too from Denim and Rhinestones. So
that'll be so
trying to have a
fun.
Nice mix.
The last time we talked, we were kind of chatting about who you would want to potentially like have a totally private show with. And I know that you're a big Guns N' Roses fan, and we talked a little bit about that. And I think that's something that people are sometimes surprised by, is how much of a rock fan and fanatic that you are. And having had success with doing a gospel album that won a Grammy, is like doing a rock album, like something you'd ever entertain just as like a passion project or for fun for you?
I mean, you never really know with me. I'll never say never about anything. I feel like there's certain influences that always work their way into different songs and different moments, even if they're not things that I record. But yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to everything, and I do have quite the affinity for rock music and metal, and I just love the energy, I think, more than anything. Like, I love going to rock concerts because it's just like, it just feels like freedom to me. So I've gotten to work with some just different friends in the rock world, and gotten to, write or spend time with different bands that I enjoy, and it's been really cool.
Definitely.
I'm totally using my country status to like hobnob with people that I'm fans of.
And I'm sure that they're also fans of you as well. I think it's been really cool lately to watch Dolly represent country music with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And whenever I think of like who that person could be in the future, you always come to mind as someone who could potentially be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is that something like, is that on your list of like goals or?
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty like random high goal to like have. But I love, like I've gotten to like honor other people and like sing with other people that I'm super fans of at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction before. And it was just such an amazing world to be a part of, and getting to be a fan is enough for me.
Definitely.
But, go Dolly.
For sure. And you mentioned, when you're away from home, when you're away from the boys, you work as hard as you can, and then you come home, you're also a mom when you get home. So I'm curious, when you have a moment to yourself, what are you doing to like recharge your social batteries and like just for you?
I mean, I have several things I feel like I'm into. I do love to like exercise and work out and be active and do those things, but I've gotten super into gardening over the past few years, and I love that. I'm so excited to like order seeds and start seeds and like order trees and plant things, and it just makes me very happy, and I feel like it's a very healthy hobby to have as well.
You were talking to me about this last summer, and I thought that was like so inspiring and so cool. And I was talking to my fiance, I'm like, we should like plant a garden or get a little greenhouse. And he's like, why don't you just like keep a basil plant alive, and then we'll go from there.
You know what's funny? I murder every plant in my house. Every plant. If it's in my house, I will kill it. But if it's like in the garden and I can eat it later, I'm gonna actually like put in the time.
What was like the biggest crop you had from your little garden this year that you had like an overwhelming amount of?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I think I had 38 tomato plants.
Oh my gosh!
I go big or go home. So I go big at home. I don't know, squash, okra, lettuces, spaghetti squash, beets, carrots. I grew black-eyed peas for the first time this year, and that made me really happy.
That's so fun. And then you recently mentioned in an interview that your relationship with exercise and working out has kind of changed and shifted more towards a focus in longevity. What does that mean to you? Like, what are the things that you're focused on for longevity?
I feel like when I was like, in my 20s, I was definitely trying to work out to like look as good as possible all the time. And I feel like as I'm older, and my priorities have just shifted. Like I see my kids and I just want to be around for them as long as possible, but not just like be alive as long as possible. I want to like be present and be around and be involved. And I think about that often. I really want them to be like, man, my mom was crushing it. Like up until, when she was in her 90s, she was still like working out and gardening and like could like haul stuff around. And that's what I want them to be able to say. Like, something that's a little out of the ordinary. Like my mom just kicks some booty, even as a little old lady.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like they always say they're like, decide what you want to be doing when you're like 75 and work backwards to like try and like think about those things, which is always like, I feel like a hard shift to like think about things like that long term. But I also think that's like such a healthy thing to be focused on.
It is. I mean, there's nothing bad about taking care of yourself.
No, not at all.
I'm trying to, be a good example for them as well. And, I can't be like, you need to eat your vegetables if I'm not willing to do it myself, which I totally am, because that's all I eat.
Yeah. But I feel like you are a good example, because I saw Jake's little Taebo video that he was doing.
Gosh, hilarious.
That was, first of all, I hadn't seen one of those DVDs
I didn't even know I had it.
Long.
I think because we pulled out the DVD player and it was like tucked away in something, and I was like, well, this is really good just because we can kind of control a little more about what they're watching and like pick the movies instead of them like stumbling on things on like YouTube or whatever. So that was, I guess, in it. That's the last time I had used that
like
DVD
of all the things
player.
to pick out.
I know. And he was like, I want to go exercise. And I was like, all right. And then he did. And
that was
like busted him on the phone.
That's too funny. And then being here in the Hard Rock, we were kind of talking about how you remember coming here as a kid. They're surrounded by
90% sure when I was like, I don't know. So I came here when I was like 10 years old, and then we came here when I was like 14 years old. So on one of those trips, I remember being at the Hard Rock.
Do you remember like any specific piece of memorabilia, like maybe seeing when you were a kid that like kind of stood out to you or that you remember?
I don't from this specific place.
Yeah.
Like I've been to a few Hard Rocks in my day now. I remember we like went to the one in LA when I was on Idol, and no, it's just cool. Like looking through all the outfits and stuff like that, and guitars, and it's a cool pieces of history in here.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank
We so
you.
appreciate the time. It's going to be a great night.
We're gonna have some fun.
Have so much fun. It's Carrie Underwood at Audacy's Totally Private.